Hi. This is my very first screen recording, capture, blah, blah, blah. I want to do a series for my grandbabies. Hi, Paisley. Hi, Levi. And my daughter. Hi, Taylor Ray. And um, I want to go through pictures of my family. And I want to talk about them. And I want to teach you who they are. And I may not be here forever. Who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I'm a swamp witch and I will be around forever and ever and ever and ever. It's possible. Um, but in the event that I'm not, I know that I would have loved for my mother and my dad to do something like this for me and talk about the pictures that they see. And if you never listen to them, you never listen to them. But I hope you do. I hope you care about your family and who came before you. And some of the stuff I share with you is probably going to be really boring, but I want you to know it and pass it on to your kids and their kids and their kids forever and ever. Amen. Some of it will be fun. Some of it will be me, and you'll get to hear all these wonderful stories about me, and I know you'll love that. So, and some of them will even be you. Um, so I'm going to get started, and I haven't really figured out how to make this thing pretty yet. I think that I won't be able to see my my little box with me in it, which is going to freak me out a little bit, but we're going to try it. So this is what I see right now, and in a second I'm not going to see myself, and so I'm not going to know what I look like, and it's going to be odd. Okay, here we go. I am going to pull up my photos. And we're going to start with, I have so many. Oh gosh, guys, I have so many. Let's start with family. And, look. And this is kind of slow. This is going to take a while. That's me. Yeah, it is. That's me. And this was taken by a personal friend of my mom and dad's. He had this Thomas photography. So some of the ones that you see, like of their wedding and stuff, are going to be that. Let's see. I'm learning. Let's just go one at a time and see what we get, because this is a practice one. That right there. Oops. Gotta learn. Gotta learn. It's not smooth. Okay. This right here was taken in Washington, D.C. That is my father, Donald Ray Adams. That is his sister. Whoops, that is not my father. That is my father. That is Donald Ray. This is Chick, Aunt Chick. This is Grandma Helen Willoughby Adams. And I'm not really sure about who these people or these people are. I think my dad lived in Washington, D.C. for a short period of time. His dad, Carl Raymond, worked for the U.S. Navy in the blueprinting department. And I think Grandma worked there too for a little bit. So this was while they were there. Fun fact, and it might even be this day. Might be this day. They got to see the King and the Queen of England. They came to Washington, D.C. We've got a newspaper article someplace. So that was a fun thing for them. But let's move on, and we'll just see. This stuff is just going to be random for now. I don't have a plan. This is Grandma Helen's birth certificate, August 31st, 1908. Born in Indiana. Nope. Yeah. She was born in Indiana, but it doesn't say where. Yes, it does. Marion County. But her parents were born in Kentucky. Fun fact about the parents. They were cousins. Moving on. Ha! Okay. This is me. This one right here. This is me. My first bikini shot. Probably my last bikini shot. That was my friend, Kim Keithley. She lived next to me. This was taken at the Brownsburg house right after we moved in. And this was my babysitter and my friend, Lisa Golder. And I'd really love to know where Lisa is today. We don't know. Not been able to find her. But I'm still in contact with Kim on Facebook. So, next. Kindergarten picture. Ugh. I think that was 4th grade. It was a horrible jumpsuit. Really horrible. That was a rock and rose garden that was out in the back of our house. My dad liked to landscape, and he put all the rocks in, and he put everything in. There was nothing in when we moved there. More of his flowers. That was right behind my backyard. This here, see this big hill? It was big when I was little. And these hills, and they went way down that way. This is what we called the hills. We played in the hills, and it was a big deal to get to go out there and do that by ourselves. Kim and I would go out alone. See this tree right here? This is the tree I fell out of and put a puncture wound in my arm. There was literally a hole in my arm. It wasn't bleeding. It was just a hole. And I remember going in, showing it to my mother. She almost passed out. My dad took me straight upstairs and poured peroxide in the hole. No stitches. Nobody got stitches back then. This was my swing set that if I went very high, it almost flipped over. There's Mom. Nah, she was young. She never liked having her picture taken. I was going to be a model, you see. And so here I am. And wow. That's just wow. See this trunk right here? This was Papa Mitchell's trunk and Mama Mitchell. It was in their house. And when Papa passed away when I was about 2 or 3 years old, I remember going into their house and what it smelled like. It smelled like old people, and getting this trunk. I still have this trunk today. It has blankets and quilts in it. It's downstairs. Mom always loved plants. She had plants in the house. I wonder if I can make this any bigger. I probably can. Hey, look at that. Ha! That's my dad. This was in his office at the police department in Indianapolis. He was in the personnel department. He was a lieutenant. And this was his secretary, Taja. And I remember her. I wasn't very old. And this right here, and this are all watercolor paintings that I did for him and he put on his desk. That is me as Flower Girl for Scott and Sylvia's wedding. Walsh, Aunt Chick's son. I don't remember how old I was there. I think I was 5, maybe I was 6. I was scared to death. Didn't know what I was doing. I just didn't understand when I walked down the aisle. But I did love my dress. This right here is a string art owl that my mother made. She also made another one. It was called Cruel. It's a needle stitch kind of thing. We'll probably see a picture of that. But after my mother died and Shirley moved into the house, she didn't like the owls, and she insisted that the owls be taken down to the basement. And the basement became Owl Heaven. And Owl Heaven was something that we talked about all the time, and nobody really knew what it was. So now you know. That was me. That was in the Sylvan Drive house. So I had to have been probably 4, maybe 3.5 for Christmas. That was the year I got my bike. See it right there? My Disney Alice in Wonderland record, my Hans Christian Andersen record. This was my clock that I learned how to tell time. And you could put the number in on this side, and that was for the little hand, and the number in on this side, and that was for the big hand, and it would go and it would be where it was supposed to be. This is Ada and Verlin Bohannon. There's my mom. This was at the Brownsburg house for their 50th anniversary. And who knows how they made it that long. Neither of them were ever happy, I don't think, ever. You'll see all kinds of pictures of Grandma, and she has that exact same look on her face. Funny story about these two. Grandma and Grandpa were born on the exact same day of the exact same year. It was September, I think it was September 18. Could be wrong about that date, 1901. My mother made this Afghan. And look, there's the chest that belonged to Papa Mitchell. All of Daddy's albums, vinyl albums. Oh, there I am again. And again. This was my best buddy in the whole world, Troy Martin, and his twin brother and sister, Danny and Diane. And they lived next door to us on Sylvan Drive. And they moved away, and it broke my heart because Troy was my best friend. He was my cohort in crime. I was constantly in trouble with him. He was older than me, even though he was short there, I see. Fun fact about this picture, my dad wrote my name J-U-L-Y on the back of it. There's Mom and Dad. Got married March 12th, 1966 at Wesley United Methodist Church in Indianapolis. There's my first inclination to be a witch. Yep, that was the Sylvan Drive house. I was probably 3 or 4. I had that broom forever. Daddy bought it from a blind man that made brooms. It was a big thing back in the 70s. And I think that was probably Christmas or Easter. I don't see any Christmas decorations, so it must have been Easter. Oh God, that's a terrible picture. I hated the sweater. I hated the jacket. I hated the hair. It was just bad. But I did have a yummy caramel apple. So I don't remember where we were. One of our outings to go to a state park or someplace. Mom and a turkey. Had to have been Thanksgiving. Okay. This is in the Sylvan Drive house. Lots of people you need to know. This is my Uncle Pa. It was my mom's brother. And my Grandpa Verlin. And this is David Cox. And David Cox was married to Debbie. Debbie is Paul and Mary Bell's daughter. This right here is my Grandma Nanny, my great-grandma Nanny. She was Verlin's mother. So we have 1, 2, 3 generations there, plus me. So 4. Grandma Nanny, fun fact, lost one of her fingers at the knuckle. Got it caught in a lawnmower. That was one of my mother's favorite pictures of me. I can't remember that silly little doll's name, but you pulled a string in her butt, and she talked and sang and did all kinds of fun stuff. Someplace I have these shoes. You may find them after I'm gone. Those are my shoes. This goes back to the 50th anniversary of Grandma and Grandpa Bohannon, Mom, Uncle Paul. This necklace she's wearing is a shell. It's an Estee Lauder necklace. And you open it up and it has solid perfume in it that you rub on, and then you can put it on your neck or your wrists. She had several different kinds of those, but it was Youth Dew, and that was her. It's her signature scent. I have a bottle of it in my room. Me and Mom on Easter. That's Cassie. This is me. That's Cassie. Cassie was born 1 day after me to my mom's best friend, Janet. Lind, last name Lind. Cassie and I were friends for a very, very long time until we grew up, and then we were still friends, and we had something that happened in the Prairie House when Taylor was little, and we haven't spoken since. Story for another day. I think I'm 4. There I am. I got my Snoopy shirt on with the football. Very cool. Mom played piano. She was great. This is great-grandpa John Herman and his second wife, Nora. His first wife was Dora, so don't get them confused. Second wife, not related. Nora, I think her maiden name might have been Smith. The family didn't care much for her. I liked her just fine. She had little black old woman shoes, like what you would think of as witchy shoes now. Great-grandpa lived to be 102. Not really sure whatever happened to Nora. But there they are. Oh, those are pretty good shoes. Those aren't the ones she usually wore. Those are the ones that Grandpa used to wear, though. He wore the same shoes every single day. There's Cassie. Must have been Christmas. This is my rocking horse that I went absolutely crazy on. I don't know how I didn't die. This was at Scott and Sylvia's wedding that you saw me in a picture of a yellow dress, and I was the flower girl. This is Scott. And that's Uncle Butch Walsh. That's Uncle Butch's dad, Lowell. Santa! I used to go see Santa at L.S. Ayers, downtown Indianapolis, and it was a big to-do. I think it was upstairs someplace. You get on a little train. The little train would ride around in the North Pole or wherever and take you to Santa. And I loved it every year. I loved it. I was heartbroken when they shut that down. Another Santa picture. One more Santa picture. My mother made that skirt for me. It was a long skirt. She called it a granny skirt. It came to the floor. It's kind of quilted. Mom made that dress for me too. That might have been my first Santa experience. This is probably a good place to take a break. Let me pull this back up. We're going to stop recording. I'm going to make sure that it works and that I am actually in the screen. Yeah, looks like I am. Okay, I'm tired of talking for tonight, but we'll go on. And eventually I'll try to do something that makes a little sense. But this is kind of fun telling the stories. Maybe I'll look at it when I get old and don't remember them. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.